All right, we're back with you here at 10:15 on Morning After on this Wednesday morning. And Michael Matthews is a nutrition and fitness expert. He's also the author of Muscle for Life, Get Lean, Strong, and Healthy at Any Age. And that catches our attention, right? At any age. It's never too late to build muscle mass and experience some of the benefits of that. And Michael's here to shed some light on it. And you were telling me during the break, Michael, that you were inspired by, many years ago, Bill Phillips in his book, Body for Life, which I find is even to this day, I had a copy in 2000, to this day, some of the tenets of that really apply to everyday life and hold up and are timeless. Had you tried that and inspired by it? In what way?
Well, I was inspired just by it was a phenomenon. It was a little bit before my time in terms of my own personal fitness journey.
Yes, you're young. You can say it. That's fine. You were like 8. That's good. Okay.
Probably, yes. But I was inspired when I got into the fitness space professionally, and I looked at what Bill did. I was inspired by the program he put together and how he marketed it and how he made it exciting and how he got people through the transformation contests. And he helped a lot of people. And also the title is Body for Life is a good title. And of course, Muscle for Life was inspired by that title. So I have to tip my hat to Bill Phillips.
Well, and I appreciate that. And I think you've taken it to the next level. He sort of built the foundation and in a general sense sort of wanted people to have a transformative life. But you're talking about building muscle for life because muscle mass over a lifetime, it's important to maintain it for a number of reasons. Can you break that down for viewers, especially those of us who are of a certain age?
Absolutely. And that is why I chose the title to emphasize muscle, because it's not just about vanity. And there's nothing wrong with some of that. Anybody who spends any time in the gym is at least partly driven by vanity, and that's okay. But muscle mass, for example, if you look into the scientific literature, here's an interesting piece of information, is that research shows that the amount of muscle that you have is directly tied to all-cause mortality, meaning death from anything and everything. So what the research shows is the more muscle definition you have, the more muscle, the stronger you are, the less likely you are to die from anything and everything, disease, trauma, really anything. And then if we look on the functional side of things, especially as we get older, if we have a considerable amount of muscular strength and muscle definition that comes with that, we are less likely to fall down and get hurt. We can live a more active and vigorous lifestyle, which means different things to different people. That could mean hiking, it could mean tennis, it could mean swimming, it could mean being able to play sports with the grandchildren or the children. And so those are major benefits that maybe we don't think too much about when we're in our 30s or 40s, but which become very real when we're in our 50s and 60s and beyond.
Well, I think what you've touched upon could be revolutionary in that as people get older, rather than trying to just remain trim and healthy for the sake of their weight, they're building muscle mass for, as you say, to move better, to not fall, for balance, and from what I understand, more muscle mass, better muscle mass also helps in strengthening and keeping your bones strong as you get older as well. We want to ask you this, and this is the question we were talking about, and we're getting feedback now from our viewers. So Noom is one of those diets, one of those plans, I don't even want to call it a diet, they market it as a plan, which promises to change the way you think about food, but if you break it down, it's really deprivation. And I've often wondered this calorie in, calorie out thing, 300 calories of sugar is different than 300 calories of protein. So why are we buying into more of these fads and trends which just deprive us and leave us in this cycle of weight gain and weight loss?
Well, you cut right to the quick there in that calories in and calories out, it's important to understand if all we cared about was body weight, but we shouldn't only care about body weight. We should care about body composition, meaning what is that weight comprised of in terms of muscle and fat in particular. And the problem with only paying attention to calories and following a very low calorie diet is, sure, you can lose weight. You're not going to have a good time. You're not going to feel very good, but you can lose weight. But you're going to lose a considerable amount of muscle as well. And that is when people say they want to quote unquote lose weight, really what they want to do is lose fat and not muscle. And if you want to lose fat and not muscle, you have to go beyond just calories in and calories out and simply restricting calories. You have to also, like you said, you have to pay attention to how much protein you're eating, and you have to eat a fair amount more protein than most people eat. You also have to train your muscles if you want to preserve that muscle. You don't have to lift weights, but you have to do some form of resistance training. And so that's really where these, let's just call them diets. I understand for marketing purposes, you can say it's a plan, not a diet. But I mean, if we look at the dictionary definition, it's just a regimen, a way of eating. So it is a diet.
Yes.
And if it is simply low calories and encourage you to eat some nutritious foods, again, you can lose weight. But I've heard from many people over the years who do that, and then they reach out to me saying, I lost 30 pounds on this low-calorie diet. I didn't like it, and now I don't even like what I see in the mirror. I feel weaker. What happened?
Yeah, and the proportion of your body and what you see is different, even though your weight is less. Well, let's hope this conversation continues. You've provided a guide. I feel like the conversation is happening. Doctors now during physicals are doing more of that body mass index, letting you know how much muscle to fat ratio you have, which could help as well, along with your guidance and your help. And we appreciate it, Michael. Michael Matthews' book is Muscle for Life. Get lean, strong, and healthy at any age. It's about aging better as well and being healthy as we get older. You can check him out on Instagram and also on Twitter. In Morning After